Ladies and gentlemen, football is a fickle, cruel mistress. If you had asked me on Thursday or even on our last show, things were looking quite chipper for the Arsenal. But now, things are looking really bad. So, in today's show, we're going to try not to talk about Arsenal very much, but focus on the other teams. And maybe we'll have a not so biased show. For once, this is the 601 football show on FTB Sports.
Never give up on us. Now we're on the road to you. Right now, all our dreams can be made. I will be kings of football again. England!
Welcome, anyone who is watching or watching back on YouTube. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe and, give us some of that love because that's what it's all about, people. It's all about the love. Welcome, Adam, a bit of a veteran on the show now. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Nice to see you. Thanks for having me back.
Always a pleasure. And Alex, well, you're getting close to 4 or 5 games now. How are you feeling?
Yeah, no, I feel like a veteran as well. I mean,
all one big family. But making his debut today, my cousin, my boy, Luke Owens. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, mate, great. I'm delighted to be finally plucked off the subs bench and put into the first team. Midweek football, so it's all good. It's all good. You take what you can get.
Luke, you're a Chelsea fan, and we had a little talk on the phone earlier. And I wanted to discuss what you said to me because I hadn't actually watched the Chelsea West Ham highlights. And I think the word you said for the third goal was the guy Masuaku should apologise. Now, what did you mean about that?
I mean, look, to give it the game its dues, let's start from the beginning. I would say, I thought we dominated the match, but when it come down to it, West Ham knew what they were doing. They put us under pressure in certain spaces, and they made it hard for us. And I think that they got their just desserts in a certain way. I didn't think they were particularly, forthcoming with their football, but they it's like anyone in it. So many of these, like the top sides, we tend to dominate the ball. So these other teams, they soak up the pressure and they play counter-attacking football. And the trick is, can they suck you into the counter-attack? And they did a few times, and more than that, they put pressure on our backs. And I think I look at some of the, we've been raving about the Chelsea defence this season so far, and I think for good reason. And at the same time, there were moments of before the game it was a Sky game at sort of midday, and or the BT game before, they were talking about how great Thiago Silva's been, and I think
he did have them there.
I know we're going to touch on the defenders a bit later on, but Thiago Silva is a Rolls Royce of a defender. I mean, I absolutely love having him, even at the age of 37. Like the amount of time that he looks like he's got on the ball, and the way that the control and the composure. So naturally, after they did a little piece on him before the game, we were waiting for him to have a howler.
Always to wait.
He had everything though. I think he scored a goal, he stopped a goal, he had a goal line clearance. He gave away some really cheap possession. I mean, they were waxing lyrical about his passing before the game, and so naturally, as I say, he kind of came a bit unstuck. But
that third goal, that was the thing that made me laugh because when I went back and watched it, I was just
want to get to the filthy bit.
It was just brilliant. It was such a great finish. I don't know what you're talking about. He was definitely put that in the top corner.
No, I mean, we let them sort of fanny around with it a little bit on the wing, and I think then he decided to cross the ball, and he sort of knuckled it basically. He kind of knuckled it straight into the corner. He mishit the ball. And Mendy was just flat-footed. Mendy's got a lot of slack this week over his performance in the West Ham game. And I think that
it's his first game, to be fair, that he's had a bad game. So
yeah. I think to be fair, recently he's I'm not saying standards have slipped, but I think maybe a little bit of talk of the Ballon d'Or and best keeper. Well, look at Mane was saying the other week about why hasn't he been considered? He's had an outstanding season, and I think I can understand why those comments come from, but maybe the chat got to his head a bit, so he feels a little bit like he's unstoppable. But in a modern context of the game, Mendy's a fantastic keeper in my opinion, but he's not someone that you want to spend a lot of time with the ball at his feet. So there you go. I mean, he was given a hospital ball back, but he made a meal of the first one, gives away the pen, and then in the third goal, he gets caught out with a complete mishit that we didn't deserve to lose the game to that goal. And I think that was really. That's the comment I had about it, really.
Alex and Adam, what did you see that third West Ham goal? What did you think of it?
Yeah, I think the keeper should apologise before anyone else. And it's what's known as a cross shot as well. So it's just like it's a shot, but it's also a cross. So if it goes in, I meant it. Like Saka scored one against Chelsea, didn't they?
Yeah, we love those. We love those.
Cross shot, it's obviously he meant
it's part of the game. I'm not saying it's not part of the game. I'm just saying that you can't.
That game had some beautiful goals. That's for sure. Like Mason Mount's goal as well was.
Mount's was sweet.
Slick. That was you saw he was going to score it. That's the worst thing. Like when he got that long cross, and it was a beautiful pass, and he just like sneaks it in bottom right corner. That was beautiful.
Reminiscent of Song and Van Persie, isn't it?
You can't really fault the keeper for that, and to be honest, like you can't really fault Mendy for the third goal either. Like it was not what you expected, and it was beautiful as well. But I'm not sure. I don't think he meant.
I know beautiful. Beautiful is like he saw an opportunity and he buried it. This was
the top corner from
Get to reality. I mean, he mishit across and it flew into the top corner and deceived not only the Chelsea keeper but all of the other players on the pitch. Nobody else thought it was going in. I mean, it was like
was it Cisse for Newcastle that the outside of the boot one?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like that, but then it's just like
it's
like the way that you strike that. It's like.
This is not about a quality.
It's a dream goal, isn't it?
People were saying it like what he did was he accidentally executed a great shot. He didn't accidentally execute. He tried to cross the ball and then the ball moved and he mishit it and he just caught it.
I would say that it's a golf analogy I use. If you're playing golf and you hit a bad shot and it goes close or it goes in, it's like there's no such thing as a fluke because your intention is always trying to get the ball in the hole, isn't it? So even if it's a bad shot and it goes there, it's like my ultimate intention was to get the ball into the goal. So
there you go. Love a golf analogy. Moving on. I just found that especially the bit where Luke said to me on the phone, he needs to apologise. And I was like, well, what's this guy done? And then I saw the goal. I was like, that's an amazing goal. What's he got to apologise for? Anyway, so obviously my little moan at the start, being an Arsenal fan, it's dark times at the moment. It's dark times to even have a football show and have to talk about football. I got a telling off from the wife on Monday night. I had a meltdown, and yeah, it was deserved. So what I wanted to do is, now that Arsenal have thrown top four out the window, I want to look at the race for the top four. But just so you know, I'm not including Arsenal in it because we're not going to make top four. Okay, so I'm going to start.
Arsenal.
I'm discluding them from this topic because we're not going to make top four. Okay, it's not going to happen. Alex, to start with you and United, it was a must-win game on the Friday.
Yeah,
and I don't know how, but you won it. We pretty much gave it to you. Now after that, you would have been 8 points behind us if you had lost it. You got 2 points. You got a nice little win against Watford, was it? No, was it Watford? I can't remember who it was. I've zoned out. But what are you feeling? Do you think United now, with Ragnick or Ragnarok, as I like to call him, Loki, it's got to be done every show, until he leaves Man United. Are you going to get this top four place? Is this yours to take now?
I have been fairly confident, regardless what happens over time, that that kind of like things even itself out over time. So it's there's a reason why United finished second last year. There's a reason why they finished third the year before. It's because they're a good team, and they started like pretty shit. So. At the end of the day, I mean, the last prediction was that, of course, we're going to win it, but it's because you have a new manager, and you had no idea that it was going to be, against, I mean, you no idea it was going to be that good. The first half an hour was actually quite impressive, and I don't think that if you fire a manager who got second last year, it's because Greenwood just scored against Young Boys.
Live update.
And yeah, but example like Greenwood's on the bench and he would start for Arsenal. So I mean, it's one of those things where they have an amazing team, but the results weren't there, and now you're expecting first place. And first place is in the Premier League is only one can get it every year, right? So it's not an easy gig to perform, and it's like right now Ragnick. I mean, if he doesn't get first place, then what is he gone? I mean, top 4 is pretty much, in my opinion, a given with this squad, and I think it's a lot to do with the squad.
It's a given. It's a given. So you're saying.
Yeah, I'll go that far and say that top 4 should be a given with this squad. Like people were expecting.
Should be. Or
yeah, no,
should
be right. So you see, like if you look at you have a one-off once in a while. Those were extremes, right? But if you look at in general, they have been really solid over the last couple of years, and they should be winning against certain teams, and they weren't doing that. So. My favorite manager and player of all time, Ole leaves. I'm not happy about that, but somebody else comes in, and of course you expect him to be able to get top 4. You expect it. It's not even. I mean, if Ragnick doesn't deliver top 4, it's a scandal with this team. So okay. I mean, I expect top 4 for United, regardless of who came in, and even if Ole stayed, I would expect top 4. But I mean. The expectations were higher than top 4. They were actually to win, right? So now we're looking at. I still think Arsenal has a long shot on that one as well. But I think so more than Spurs. I think so more than West Ham.
Wow.
Even though I think that they have good teams.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's
yeah, but
nice.
They
makes me feel better.
They can surprise because they have. I think they have better players in general than the other 2 teams that I mentioned. But I think that United actually shouldn't be discussing if they're going to manage 4th place. I think it's more like if Chelsea's going to flop out of the top or maybe I don't see Liverpool flopping out at all. Actually,
I don't see Chelsea flopping out either,
or City. No, but they're all beatable, right? So it can happen 3-4 bad games, and then things change.
I disagree. I think those top 3 teams. I think they'll stay there. But your prediction, you're saying that it realistically, it's United's to lose that 4th spot.
Yeah, of course. I think like if Solskjaer was fired for not like being in a position to win the thing, then not to be able to get 4th place is. I
don't think he was fired because he wasn't in a position to win. I think he was fired because he was doing an atrocious job. I mean, like the players stopped playing or whatever happened, but I don't think it wasn't circumstances that convened against him. I mean, he's just he was never going to be the right guy for United. I think everybody knew that from the beginning. I mean, did you ever really think that he was going to be the guy to take on all these personalities, all these egos?
Yeah, I did. I personally did, but like, but again, like, it's one of those things. Like, is he going to be the guy? I mean, I think he did a pretty decent job. I mean, considering where they were
considering the amount of money that he has at his disposal, the sort of players he's got, I think he did the bare minimum, basically. I mean,
no, he's doing all right as well, isn't it? He's had a few bad results, and then you get
this season is one story.
You know what I mean? It's like they get to the point where it's like they can't. It's not like Ferguson or Wenger where they've done enough and they've achieved enough for you to overlook certain things like that. I think with Ole, he was just on like thin ice, and I think when you get beaten by Watford, there was obviously issues with Maguire. Obviously, I think got sent off that game. He's like completely out of form. I think it's a difficult one. Like we discussed this, last week, I think, didn't we? Because it's the he's going to be judged a lot more harshly in a shorter space of time because no one's going to get the same amount of time that they used to get because that era is gone. It's reactionary now, isn't it? And it's results driven.
But is
instantly.
it with United? It doesn't really typically feel reactionary. I think they stuck with Ole for much longer than certainly Chelsea would have. I mean, we'd never got him through. What was it, 2.5, 3 years that he was there for? I mean,
Yeah,
well, I think the position last season, I think the finish last season was unexpected. And I think that was, with other teams in the league, I don't think anyone probably thought that Solskjaer would have, got Man United there last season. So I think that's probably why they're like, oh yeah, maybe he's the right man for the job. But in terms of the way United have played this season, like we've discussed with the players that they've got, and I think you're right in terms of the top four, squad wise, it should be Man United. Like out of those teams contending for it. On paper, the depth of the squad, the amount of money that they've spent on the squad, it should be Man United. Whether it will be, I think it remains to be seen if they have like similar to us, like, if you've got that inconsistent in form and if teams aren't fearing you. I think, the thing that, I took from the West Ham Chelsea game, with Mendy as well, like especially when he got caught on the ball, like, West Ham aren't going to show you that respect. The amount of teams that, will go and they'll just give it, they won't pressure the keeper, they'll let them have it. But West Ham are a team that are doing well, I think, because they know their level and they know they've got to perform and they are performing as a team. Whereas, you come to Arsenal, we've got West Ham next week, I think, haven't we? Wednesday next week, I think we've got them. So that's a massive game. I'm not either because they're not going to be scared of us. And I think that's how West Ham are playing. And that's why West Ham are doing well because they're going out. They're not paying anyone the respect that they think they should have because of the squad. They're going out and they're playing them and they're trying to terrorise teams because, that's you just got to get up at them and you've got to,
I think it's simple though. I think that we talk about pressing in football. We always talk about going together. There's no point in pressing individually. Everyone's got to press as a unit. And I think West Ham do that. I think when West Ham are doing the thing that they're supposed to be doing, I think we can all say that all of the teams we support going in and out of doing what they do best, and just the twos and throws of football. But when West Ham are at it, they're at it. I think they've got enough players to be difficult, and they showed that to us the other day. And yes, they did win by a fortunate goal, but you've got to be in it to win it. You've got to be after those opportunities. You've got to put yourself in those situations. I bear no grudge to it. I mean, look, I'm not happy we lost to him, especially. I mean, we hate the early kickoff, but I mean, at the same time, take nothing away from the performance. I thought West Ham did well. If I was a West Ham fan, I'd be like, don't worry about it. Who cares?
But that's what I mean. They're grinding out a lot of results like that as well, aren't they?
Sometimes we call that championship winning form. You're getting results you don't deserve to get, and I think like that's what they did. And I think I mean, I talked to a few West Ham fans this week, unfortunately, and they were all 100% like we nailed that game. And I was like, well, we saw two different games, but such is life. Yeah.
Alex, what I mean, it blended in nicely onto the West Ham thing. What do you think about West Ham? Do you think, like, because you said earlier, do you think they're going to fall off, or do you think they'll be there at the end?
No, I think they'll fall off, but I think that they have an incredibly good 11, and the thing is with the Premier League is it requires so much of you, so it's like you can't just rely on your starting 11 all year. I mean, you will have injuries, you will have people missing, but I think West Ham. I think their central midfield is there a better one in the Premier League? Like, you could ask yourself, but like, I mean, if there is a better one, then okay. I mean, they might be like, but they're that good. Like, right? Like Rice is for me. I think he's brilliant, and also Souček. I think he's amazing as well. So I think those two are such a stabilizing factor, and if those guys are playing every game, West Ham are a tough team to come up against.
Their team spirit's brilliant as well. That's everything I noticed with West Ham. You see them behind the scenes and everything. They have a real team spirit, not like a. We see it a little bit at Arsenal where it feels like they've got a team spirit, but some of it seems like, is this just for the promo and the social media? Because it doesn't always seem genuine. Some of it seems a bit contrived. But every time I've seen, West Ham and, those players, the way that they interact with each other, it seems like they do genuinely like each other. They're having a great time playing together, and I think that's why they are where they are as well, because
or are they just the kind of like a sexy London version of Burnley? And like they get a bit more, it's hard work and graft. It's Burnley football, it's a lot of like get it up top and whatever. Harry people make people feel like
under pressure. They're just a sexy London version.
They're playing the same colours. Is it just a coincidence?
Look, they didn't beat Chelsea with headers, right? So they won because
But,
they
I
were
mean,
the
we're
better
talking
team on
about
the day.
what we're talking about. I'm talking about in terms of grit and like determination. I'm not saying that they are this, so they are like for like. But,
Yeah, they're like look, I did, but that's the thing. I think that they, where they fall off, where is the squad, and over time, like the squad is going to become more and more like important as the season goes on. It's easy to pull full throttle at the beginning, and then players get tired, injured, so on, and they don't have backups. And they have a good first 11, and it still could get better. But I mean, they are punching above their weight, maybe. But they're doing really well. Tottenham, Harry Kane. When was the last time this guy scored? And they're good, but they have good players. But I still don't think
They've got a game in hand as well, haven't they? I think Tottenham, I don't like to say it, but I think Tottenham are a dark horse for me. They've got a game in hand.
I do as well. I'm
They
worried.
go
about
above
Tottenham.
West Ham, and I think they're one of those ones where, because they've gone off the ball, they've had a change of manager. Always a bit of a laughing stock for me anyway. Other than recent seasons, which we don't necessarily talk about, but they've had a change of manager. But since that's happened, United have had a change of manager. There's a few other people looking in other places, and they've, in terms of form, like they're like three wins, a draw, and a loss in the last 5, which it's not bad form for top 4. They've got
I
a
agree.
relatively
I
easy
think
run in.
Spurs have got a
I
good
say easy,
chance.
but this month there's a lot of games this month, and like the sort of games that Tottenham have got up, there's a few that you'd expect them to win comfortably, the way that they're playing. But Ollie, I do think if we're putting Tottenham in that bracket, we can't discount Arsenal based on that pure.
That's what I'm saying,
I just
Ollie.
don't think we can.
You have to throw Arsenal back into the mix. I would say Arsenal's a bigger competitor for top 4 than Tottenham or West Ham.
Really?
If you don't think that Arsenal should be competing this year, and I could. I can understand why the performances can be.
We just lost to Everton
here and there, sure, but I mean, again, you lose to Everton via a superb strike. I mean, that's different than losing to the West Ham goal, which was a fluke. He just buried that as a wonder goal.
Did you see their first goal? I mean, that's Sunday League. If you did it in Sunday League, you'd get told off.
But I think with Arsenal, I think there's more reasons to feel positive, because I think what you see is. Trust the process, but over the 2 years of Arteta, I do think that they're starting to look a bit more like a team that are doing what he wants to do.
If you look at the calendar year as well, like generally, under Arteta as well, we used to have it with Wenger, like calendar year up until.
I never liked that stat.
No.
It's such an Arsenal fan thing to say.
It's important.
From this date to this date, we were.
But it is important, because if in terms of the finish, we've always had a strong finish, because we go into the new year and then we generally have a good run. It's this period now, November through to the new year, where something just happens to us, where we just, even under Wenger, November, it was just like notoriously the worst month for us. No matter how we started, we get to November and it would all go a bit tits up for us, and then we'd always have to, be chasing the pack. But our consistency from January to April has always saved us. Now, I hope, based on last year, that we get that again, because I think the way that the table looks, we get these games out of the way, and we at least try and just win some, want some points in December. I do think that we have got a chance mathematically. We're in it. It's games like Wednesday against games like it's 15 games in, games like Wednesday against West Ham. That's a massive game for top 4, because if we beat them, we're the whole thing is then wide open. Like anyone's going to feel like they can take that space going into the new year.
Adam, I agree. I agree, but let me just come with one point before we go off this, because it's like, did anybody expect Liverpool to get top 4 last year after the start and how they were playing and all this stuff, and now we expect them to win the league?
League's stronger this year, though. The league is stronger.
Liverpool have less injuries this year. I think is probably the key thing.
I feel like the league's less good this year, but everyone's equally less good. So it's just a little bit more open. Whereas, like, I feel like other times it's felt like, a lot of people are in it. Whereas now I just feel like there's, Arsenal, Man United, they're dropping points. Like City have already lost 2 games. Liverpool have been beaten. Like those teams that at this point in previous seasons, they've gone through and they haven't lost a game. And you're thinking, are they going to go? So the fact that everyone's lost at this point, I think it's just, it's good for us, hopefully.
Well, I'm going to go
It's good
round.
for
I'm going to go
everybody.
round the houses, all right, and I'm going to ask you each individually. And I want you at this stage now. Obviously, you'll all probably come back on the show. Everything will be changed. Who knows? But at this stage now, I want you top the who's going to come fourth prediction. So let's start with you, Luke. Who do you think is going to come fourth? The teams we talked about.
I always hate to say it. I think we'll come fourth. I think we'll
Oh
come
dear.
fourth. I do.
They're not
I
even.
think-
You weren't even in the.
There
in
were
the
two.
pot.
There were two, Luke. I think we're.
I think we'll come forward because I just think that
Jesus
this
Christ.
last month I think it's demonstrated to me that there are some look, everyone's got their key players, but I think we lost an informed Chilwell, and immediately you look at it and think who steps into that gap. I saw Sal play today. I mean, he's not supposed to play left wing back. Okay, fine, but I don't know where he's supposed to play at the moment. The guy's so out of form. And I think, you look at Alonso, he's not getting up and down that wing. And it's not just there. You just think we're heavily relying on people like Reece James now to kind of be the main man. And I think like with injuries, Kante's out, Kova's out, over this Christmas period, you got game every 3 days. It's like those games rack up. Now we've got COVID as well. I mean, look at the Tottenham side's decimated by COVID at the moment. Kova's just got COVID. I just think if Kova's got it and he did like 2 days of training, it means
you
that
just brightened up my day. I didn't know they had COVID.
Yeah, well, the Spurs have had a massive outbreak today, haven't they? COVID.
Oh, that's amazing.
Someone sent them over some COVID lasagnas, I think, from what I read.
But, I mean, if you're going to come fourth, then Luke, who's coming third?
I just have this sneaky feeling that United will pull one out of the bag because the thing with United is that I think regardless of how they play, I think that there's so many good players in that squad, and they're known to grind these things out. New manager bounce, whatever. It'll be curious for me to see how Rangnick does because I think he could be incredible, but he could also be absolutely dreadful. I don't know. I mean, but they're certainly going to they'll get a Christmas bounce now, and I think that's
you heard it here first. Chelsea fourth for Luke. They weren't even in the pot. Alex, what are you saying? You're gonna agree?
I agree with Luke, and that's I genuinely think this. Like, but it's not as obvious as Luke is, hoping it's not. But it's. I think that United is going to get very, very good now moving forward, and when they get into this form, I mean, they had one chance against goal the last game with Rangnick. He looks like he organized them very well defensively, and if he can just do that and then rotate the attackers and let them just fire away, it's going to be very difficult to even draw them. So. I think that they're going to climb the table. I think that maybe if there's going to be one of the three that falls out, I think it'll be Chelsea. But at the same time, it could be, it's quite a gap. There's still a relative gap, but it's still very early in the season. But that's what I think. I honestly think that they will get third place. I think Chelsea will get fourth. I think City and Liverpool are going to fight it out for the title again this year.
There we go. Adam, what are you thinking?
I want it to be Arsenal, obviously. I want it to be Arsenal so badly. I think it's going to be United, though. I see, like, my instinct, like, when you first asked the question, I did think, looking at Chelsea, but then looking at who's going to overtake them. And for Man United to overtake them, I just don't see them having a better run than Chelsea at this point with this gap. And when you look at the amount of goals that Chelsea have scored compared to, I don't know, just look at the goal. Yeah, Chelsea on like 26, like in terms of their goal difference. Man United are on 1. Do you know what I mean? So I think at this point, after 15 games, that for me anyway is a bit of an indication that
I think it's a little bit of a misnomer that though, Adam, as well, because I feel like a part of the reason why our goal difference is so strong is because we've not been conceding goals, and I think playing three exceptional centre backs, or certainly 2 exceptional centre backs, and then a world class goalkeeper at this point have been really solid for us. Therefore, it's all positive goal difference. Chelsea have spread their goals out across the team, fine, but we don't have that kind of, what they wanted for Lukaku was for him to come in and be the main man and start burying all these chances they were creating. But bringing him into the team has changed the shape of the team. They don't have that same movement up front now, so I don't see us relying on him in that same way or be able to guarantee in the sort of tally that he had at Inter unless we change the way that we play. And I think whereas United, I just think there's goals in that team. You know, they're where Chelsea can
but then
struggle.
they're
to break
also
the lock, I
leaking
think,
goals, you know. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
of course,
it.
of course, of
Yeah,
course.
I think again it's the goal difference. So for me, like looking at, you know, Fred taking out De Gea, which was a beautiful moment for any Arsenal fan and any you know, neutral fan, I think. Like, I just don't see, you know, like I feel like Chelsea at the weekend with West Ham, that's a blip, you know, a goalkeeper performance like that. That's a one-off for him. Do you know what I mean? I can't see him doing that consistently. Whereas you look at Maguire this season, you look at Man United, how they've just been going backwards and forwards between trying to get that, you know, that back four right this season, and they've, you know, similar to us as well in all those situations. In terms of your goals, there's only Liverpool have scored more than you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're more than City, and they're in a similar situation to you as well, with, like, you know, losing Aguero and not really having anyone who's filled that gap as an out-and-out striker when there's players that you feel like should have maybe done that. But the fact that you are both you and City are getting goals from other players and from all over the pitch.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, maybe it's just from a Chelsea perspective, but I would say it was probably similar for Liverpool last year. I just feel like injuries will dictate who wins the league this year. You know, all it takes is a massive Salah injury and the whole picture changes to Liverpool. I mean, and that's not to say that the other guys can't perform, but Salah he does everything. I mean,
to be fair though, we are talking about the top three here, and we were in the top four question. So but we're going to end that there. That was
the beginning of December, Ollie. Like, it's not. It's still the beginning.
Early days.
The top three is going to change.
Yeah, well, no, I don't think it's going to. I think the top three is going to be those three, and then it's going to be the rest
Ollie,
of us fighting for.
Can I ask you one thing? I really need to go to the.
Yeah, you go, mate. Don't worry. Don't worry. You don't have to ask, Alex. You can just go.
Put your hand up first next time.
Yeah. God, dear.
He didn't let him finish. He said he was going to say pub.
So I've had enough.
Yeah.
So from top four to the bottom of the league relegation, obviously, if you had asked us all a month ago, I probably wouldn't have even talked about it, because it just looked like it was going to stay as it was. But now it's looking quite interesting, with all the bottom three on 10 points. So I just wanted to talk through who do we think is going to get relegated now, with it being so close. So we'll talk through the bottom three, and then we'll start with Newcastle. We'll start with you, Adam. Are Newcastle going to be safe? Are they going to get out of this? They just won their
Newcastle.
first game.
100% depends on January transfer window, doesn't it? Who they can get in there, because then they've got the money to do it now. If they can get people in a January transfer window and like some decent signings and people that are literally just going to pick everyone up, then I can see them staying up. In terms of them going down, I'd love to see them go down, because I think it would be amazing.
Do you see them going out and spending a war chest, as they call it?
Oh, they'll have to, wouldn't they? I mean, at this point, like, you've just become the richest club in the world.
It's not a war chest, it's an Arsenal.
Yeah, it's literally like, you know,
no pun
beyond
intended.
that. Yeah,
Saudi Arabia, they like their war weapons.
Just Adam, just out of curiosity, so so Newcastle got this huge war chest. Where do you put that money? So let's say you bring in one or two top signings, or at least middle of the road signings. Where does that money go? Because up front they look semi-decent. I mean, Wilson.
Like, the thing is, with a club that's getting that money like that, it's complete overhaul. None of those players are safe. If they stay up, none of those players are safe over the next 2 years.
But safety is the key, right? I mean, because at the end of the day, there's no point in being the richest club in the world if you're in the Championship. So
exactly. So that's my point in terms of from their perspective.
But where does that money go? Where do you start investing? Is what I'm wondering. Because I think you got so much money. You go for the sexy transfer.
You can take Pepe if you want.
I think you go for similar signing to sort of Thiago Silva, someone who's a bit older, but who has got a lot of experience, who is maybe looking to
So you think start with the defence,
but like a player like Thiago Silva, who say like might be like mid to late 30s, but has got a lot of experience with winning, because that will galvanise instantly, like bringing players like that in. And I think with the amount of money that you've got, there's not going to be a lot of young players, I don't think, or young promising players. I don't think you're going to be getting your Mbappes yet, because I don't think they're going to be committing to that sort of project. But then it was a similar situation with Man City, and it only took 2-3 seasons when they started getting those players. So obviously money talks, didn't it? You know.
They start.
Well, I
they
think
just
like when
bought
they
all of
first
our
started
shit
getting, like
players.
getting like Adebayor and players like that, and obviously
Clichy,
like
Nasri.
well, there's
Sagna,
something, something going on with those. What have they got in common?
Yeah.
But
That's
like
why they didn't win
there's a
anything.
certain, there's a certain ilk where it's like at that point, Adebayor was a great striker, but he wasn't the best striker that was on offer. So you have the balance of, who can we get? Who's going to come for the money? Who's definitely going to improve us? But you're not going to sign Messi yet because he's not going to, like those players aren't going to come there until you've got a bit of stability and you do look like you are going to be able to compete. So I think in terms of the signings that they've got to make first, it is going to be for me someone who's what's old Sergio Ramos doing now,
Sit on the bench at PSG.
Yeah. So I mean, someone like that, I think that's the sort of signing that you need to be looking at. Someone who is going to come in who's instantly got like wins and a few of those players. And I think if they do that, then they will stay up, because they'll just start bunging the refs. They'll get to that point. It's like, we've got enough money, we've got to do it.
I'm just going to go through a few comments. Sorry, I've been so into the chat that I've been missing the comments. So apologies for anyone who's made a comment and I haven't read it out. Anthony, Norwich, Watford and Burnley to go down. Also, Anthony's an Arsenal fan and he says Ben Shite was to blame for 2 United goals and Everton's first goal, 50 million. I wouldn't pay 50.
It's too fickle. It's too fickle.
Yeah,
I
wow.
can't be dealing with that.
Here's a
fickle
positive
nature,
comment. Evening, fellas. Thank you, Mr. Tony Fox. And then Mr. Fox again, as you heard, Ben White was not to blame for both. Behave yourself, Anthony. Oh dear. We're talking about relegation. We've moved on from there. Also, Munsey Talk says, "Oi, Ollie, have you not got over losing yet?" Clearly, I have not. So, what do you think, Luke? Do you think Newcastle will suspend the Arsenal war chest, weapons of mass destruction? We'll get them all out and stay up, or do you think?
Like most of the league, I'm really hoping they get relegated. There's nothing better than seeing them really. I mean, they'll come back regardless, but I would love to see them go down.
What do you think, though? Do you think they're going to go down? That's the question.
Yeah, I do actually. I think that
they're going to go.
I think what'll happen is that when they get this huge amount of money in the winter, if they get whatever they get, it's like it doesn't matter that you've got the money. You've got to get someone to come there, and the sort of players you're looking at are going to be people that are out of form, that are not quite doing the job, and like that's why you see the names that have been linked to like the Coutinhos. It's like I dare say I haven't heard it yet, but I'm sure that Eden Hazard will be on that list at some point soon. It'll be people that could be great, were great, are brilliant, but haven't really been performing. And so what you're going to get is a real mixed bag. And I think as a result of that, you're going to play him week in, week out because you're going to spend some money to get him, and you're probably going to get a subpar performance because they couldn't do it before.
You heard it there.
I think Norwich, unfortunately, is probably too low. I think Norwich will be down there. I think.
Well, hold on, Brad, because we're going to move on to the next team.
Sorry, just one quick to respond to that though. Like, do you not think though even a subpar Hazard or like
I love him.
Keep it, but like, do you know what I'm saying? Even those players, and that's what I'm saying, past
based on
good enough to keep them in. Good enough to keep them in the Premier League.
Look, I think so. I think that's what's going to happen. Like you're going to have a few really brilliant players, like Luke said. Maybe they're off form, maybe they're not doing well where they are, whatever. But either it's players with extremely high salaries not playing at the moment, or really, really big talents. And let's not underestimate like what money does. I mean, it built Chelsea, it built City, right? So, I mean, like both those two teams went up very quickly. And look at PSG as well, right? So we're not talking about like play money at the moment. It's like this is serious money. This is the kind of money that people will drop pride and all kinds of things for, right? So
but those days have changed though. I feel like there are so many teams that have now got that kind of bank. So if there's someone on the market that says
not like that,
if there's someone on the market that's worth looking into, people are going to.
But like, look, if you get Hazard back to the like you said, like if you get Hazard back to the Premier League and he starts ripping it up, that guy wins you game after game, like just by himself. And all he needs to do is be on form.
Sure, but I mean, have you been in the Belgium games? You've seen any of the handful of the Real Madrid games he's played. I mean, he doesn't look like the sort of person that's about to bounce back.
Even that level Hazard though is going to be good enough
In the Prem, mate, no chance. Mate,
I
no
was going to
chance.
ask you
Newcastle
I was
out of
gonna ask you a
19.
question.
I love him.
I reckon
Like,
he
he's
can
a
get. I
Chelsea,
reckon he
he's
can
a
get them to
Chelsea
17th
legend.
though.
I mean, like,
He can
I would
get
hate for him
Newcastle
to
to
hear these
17th,
comments.
mate.
All right, boys. Well, yeah, we're moving on. But that was good. Hazard to Newcastle. You heard it here first. He's going to spend 4 months injured. Win them one game, and they'll probably stay up. Mr. Silver Fox, Mr. Fox. Thank you for your comments. The tit in me will be pissing myself in hysterics if Newcastle go down. Thank you for not swearing in the text there, Mr. Fox.
How are you spelling tit there?
Oh, twat. Maybe it must be twat. Twat or tit. Yeah.
Tart.
Tart. I don't know. If Newcastle go down, I think they will. So there we go.
Let's hope so.
I'm going to mention one thing that could stop Norwich from going down. There's a
All
Norwegian.
right, we're on to Norwich next, Alex. So you might as well just take it away. Go for it, mate.
Yeah. Because like they started really poor, but they do have Mathias Norman. He's the central midfielder there. He's probably their best.
Is he Norwegian?
He's Norwegian.
And this is what I love about you, Alex. It doesn't matter how shit they are. If they're
Shameless
Norwegian,
bias, yeah.
they're great. They're great.
What did Ødegaard do the 2 last games for you guys? What did
Well, he
he
lost us
score-
2 games.
What did he do
scored
for
but
you?
lost us.
What did he do for
He
you?
scored us 2 goals, and Ollie paid him on the side. It's okay.
Jesus.
it's,
Yeah,
family
don't bring that challenge. Oh my days.
But
Anyway, we're
he's a
talking
really
about
good
Norwich.
player. Norwich. I think Norwich is going down. That's my bet. I think they're going down.
But I mean, they're all on 10 points at the moment, so they're all pretty much neck and neck.
Yeah, but Newcastle won't be neck and neck with everyone when they sign crazy players, and it's not going to be one. It's going to be like five. It's going to be 5, 6 crazy players on crazy salaries, exploding the FIFA financial fair play.
But
And,
Norwich, do you think they're going to come bottom, or do you think they'll maybe just be in with a chance on the last day? We've got to be quick here, guys, because we've got to move on. So we're going to go quick fire. I love a quick fire round. Quick fire round. Where are Norwich going to finish, Alex?
Last place.
Last. Okay. No hope in hell. There we go. Luke, quick fire. Norwich. Have they got a hope in hell?
I don't think they'll stay up. But what I would say is that Dean Smith knows what he's doing. He's come from a similar kind of idea at Brentford before the Villa job, and I think that he's a decent fit for this Norwich side. And I think that while they will still get relegated, I think they'll bounce back again.
And do you think they'll be in the mix at the end?
No, I think they'll finish dead last. But I do think
last.
I know they're conceding too many goals and they're not scoring enough. So I mean,
Right.
you can't.
Yeah, I still think they've got a chance. Norwich, Adam.
Yeah, bottom. I just think, the other teams, Newcastle, and that you can see that they could change a couple of things, and they've got players that might change it. Norwich, for me, have just been lacking ideas, and I just don't think every game I've seen them, they've just had nothing. Do you know what I mean? And I don't see the change coming now. As Luke says, it will probably happen when they go down next season. They'll bounce back and they'll rebuild or whatever in a championship. But for me, dead last this season.
It's a yo-yo. What's it called?
Especially for Norwich, that is their life, isn't it?
I know, but I think that's a bit harsh, Norwich. I think there is a plan, there is an idea, and they stick to that plan with the people they bring in, and obviously they move people on because they have to, But at the same time, I do think that there is an idea of the sort of football they want to play and what the goal is. And I think that with Dean Smith in there, I think he'll do well. I think they'll come back again, and I don't know. I'm not saying that they won't just yo-yo again, but at the same time, I do think they'll be back again next season. Season after next.
Go bounce back ability. All right, quick fire. Burnley.
Young boys.
Adam, what are we thinking about Burnley?
Yeah, I think they'll go down as well.
Really?
Good riddance.
I mean,
Really?
The thing is with I can just see Watford just hanging on to it. Do you know what I mean? And I think it will be the teams that are at the bottom there now. I feel like they will be the teams that are there at the end. I think maybe Southampton, I don't really feel like they've offered much this season in terms of football. I could even see Brentford, dropping down as well. They've had a good strong start. I think Newcastle will stay up. I think probably Norwich, Burnley, and Watford will go down for me.
Oh, Burnley, that's good enough there, Luke. Quick fire. Burnley, yes or no?
What I say about Burnley is that when you look at the squad, you could definitely see it and go, "This is a championship squad." Like a lot of those players, with no disrespect to them, they're better at football than I'll ever
They
be.
deserve to
Like,
be in the championship.
But like Ashley Barnes, I feel like Wood. I feel like these people are almost made for the championship. Those type of players.
Linton Nightingale said that if Tottenham bought Wood, he would be happy. It happened on this show.
Well, you know what, Spurs. Who knows what? Who knows what that's going on there? But I mean, I just think, despite the fact that they look like they're dying, and Cornet or whatever his name is, he's had
Cornetto.
But Cornet's had a purple patch, and I think like he's been absolutely amazing. Cornet, but I don't think. Basically, it's an anomaly. It's like he's hit the ground running. He's loving his game, but he's a bit like a Sam Maximan. He's like a bit unpredictable. He's pretty quick on the ball. He's a sharpshooter, and I think he's done well. But he's outperformed his like actual statistics.
Shooter McGavin.
So
Burnley, are they going down?
That said, I still don't think that Sean Dyche don't go down, mate. I mean, I think he keeps somehow he keeps.
It's the Burnley way, isn't it?
I just think I think they finish 17th and they stay up. Like I think that Watford probably gets sucked in because despite the fact that Watford are playing well, they are not winning games. Like they're good. But what happens when they lose Dennis? What happens when they lose? I mean, Sarr's already injured now, but when they lose a couple of key players, and in a team like that, you can't afford to lose people like that. And I think it's a matter of time.
You heard it here on 61 Football Show. Remember to like and subscribe if you're liking the content. Please share the love because that's what we're all about, the love. And any love from you, Alex, on Burnley here, or are they gone?
Look, I wouldn't be so quick to write them off, actually, to be honest. Like, I think, like, if you're going to look at...
Can I just interject, though, guys? You do know 3 teams have to go down. So I'm just saying, it seems like we were saying all 3 are going to stay out, or maybe not Norwich. Sorry.
Yeah, but I would rather say maybe Southampton goes down before...
Wow.
I would maybe...
Not when they beat us on Saturday, mate.
Hasenhüttl was too good to go down.
But they haven't won. Are they really? Like,
not they, but I think he's too good as a manager.
I think Dyche as well, like, just run that course with Burnley.
Guys.
Do you know what I mean? Like I just feel like he's had enough time up here and he's not really done anything else.
Adam, that's the only thing I wonder. I just wonder if he's run out a bit of steam. Like they've not given him anything to do.
He's been there a while, and it's a cycle you see, isn't it?
And it's hard. It's got, but no offense to Burnley, but it's got to be hard to attract players to.
Well, we do have
Burnley
a big.
I think Newcastle gets out of the top or the bottom 3. Newcastle will get out of there. I think Norwich stays there. Maybe Southampton or Brentford or.
Fucking hell, you're really mixing it out there, Alex.
Yeah, Jesus. But look, we're looking at it like as if 5-6 points or whatever defines.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Season in the 8th of December. So.
No, I like that. It's keeping your sensible hat on. I dig that.
So, right, I would say Leeds has the potential of really.
Leeds are in there. Look, I got it. Anyone can go down. I like that. We need to move on because we're running out of time. So let's talk centre backs. Let's keep it snappy. These are quick fire rounds, like in the game show. Okay, London. All right. So I want your opinion on each centre back. I want to know if they're. I'm going to ask 2 things. I want to know if they're world class, and are they going to be in the talk for best centre backs in the league at the end of the season? So start with you, Adam. Rudiger, is he world class?
Yeah, I think he's quality. And I didn't always think that he'd get to where he is now. Some of his earlier appearances, he looked a bit culpable at times. Decision making wasn't great, but I'm not sure whether it's, again, having someone like Thiago Silva around and having players who are a bit more experienced. He's been there a while now, but he is starting to look solid. Like he's a great athlete, and he's just great ball winner as well. And yeah, he seems like
scores goals.
Goals. And he seems like his attitude he seems like quite focused. The last couple of seasons I've seen him. I don't know whether that's something that I can never say his name. Is it Tuchel? That's how Geezer says it. But Tuchel, like Thomas Tuchel,
Rudd
Gullet. Yeah.
It's not Ruder, is it? It's Rud Gullet.
Rud Gullet,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not talking to you anymore, mate.
Yeah.
Someone said
um,
that to me in a pub, and I was like, I ain't talking to you anymore. Like, leave me alone.
I
No.
think it's the preferred pronunciation now, isn't it? But yeah, I think Rudiger got a good few years ahead of him.
World class.
I mean,
Is he German? Is he German?
It's close to being world class, with maybe not quite being there yet. But I think
He's
he's
just got a little bit of a way to go.
Yeah, but I think that's the things that he needs are things that someone at his level and what his progress will definitely show in the next few years for me.
All right, fair enough. To the Chelsea fan, Mr. Luke Owens, Rudiger, world class.
I mean, it's a tough one. This.
Remember, he did want to leave, didn't he?
I love
did want to
Rudy.
leave. He was having a right old moan, wasn't he?
We nearly sold him to Spurs, but I mean, the thing is that we signed him from Roma a good few years ago, and he's really had his ups and downs. He had an injury which really messed with him, I think, around the Sarri period, and then I'll be honest with you. He's a big guy, so you want him in the team to some extent, and he's vicious, like, you know, he's
angry,
mate. He broke De Bruyne's face in the Champions League just by being a brick wall, basically.
I kind of dig that though. I kind of dig that,
and that's what I mean.
I will break your face.
But that Rudiger you want in your team, like he's like Patrick Vieira, like he's fierce, like, you know, he's a fierce competitor. Previous 3 years, I've been very much in the summer when they said, like, we'll get rid of him, and I was like, you know what, let's just get rid of him. You know, I don't think that we should give him a bumper contract on the back of the fact that he's had a great 6 months with Tuchel, because I feel like prior to that you've not really earned it. Now, is it the coach's fault or is it the player's fault? Who cares? But also, I feel like it's one of those classics. He's coming to the end of his contract and he's suddenly discovered to play. He knows how to play football again, and he's like, I can put the ball here, there, and everywhere.
Even
you're like, mate,
if you played at the end of his contract.
But that's it. If you played all these guys at the end of their contract every year, we'd have some great football to play.
Mate, you should just do 1 year contract. Fuck, I do 6 month contract.
Pay as you play. Pay as you play.
Yeah.
Just
pay as you bloody play. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think
more incentives.
There's not a Chelsea fan in the world that wouldn't say that we need to sign him up now, and like whatever it costs, we should pay it because of the last 9 months he's had. I think there's not a Chelsea fan in the world that says we don't pay him. So I think, yes, he's a great defender. Is he world class? No. I think you look at someone like Thiago Silva and you look at the sort of time he has on the ball and the way that he conducts himself on the pitch, and you see what the difference between world class and very, very, very good is. But no,
so he's will he
be one of the best centre backs in the league this year? 100%. There's no doubt in my mind he'll be one of the best.
Yeah, but doesn't that make him world class because he's in the Premier League, it's the best league in the world?
No, I think world class people are dropping. You know, they're dropping the ocean. But it's not very many.
Well, you know, some would argue I'm world class in presenting a football.
Bring them on the show, then, mate.
I mean, the millions of fans I've got on the show, the millions of people to watch. It's just outstanding.
I just think, just quickly to respond to that as well. I think he's 28 now. Do you know what I mean? And I think for a central defender, especially if he's ilk, coming into form the way he has at this time. If it's not just for the contract and he continues to do what play the way that he is playing, I can see him, playing for another 6-7 years, and in those 30 years, just getting that composure and really having that.
Ads, if they said now, like, look, we're going to offer him 200 grand a week, this is what he wants to stay in the team, I'd be like, do it. Despite the fact that I think there have been moments where his attitude's not ideal, and I think he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. I also think if you're going to play like this every week, then you're in. There's no doubt about that. He scares people, and I think that we need that in the team. There's a lot of boys in our team that are a little bit, can be brushed aside a little bit. You need those characters, I think I like to see it in Reece James now, kind of like that fierce competitor, someone that's going to step on you a little bit and put it.
That guy is world class.
Well, listen, we're not talking about.
But we're not talking about him.
Was he right back? We did right backs or left backs a few shows ago. Right, I think we've done Rudiger. We're going to move on to Maguire, and we'll start with you, Alex. I mean, it's fair to say he's had a bit of a tough old season, but is he world class?
What do you guys think? You guys are English. You guys watch the Euro.
Has he ever been world class?
I think at once when he puts on an England shirt, I think he is.
Guys.
I think he's a fraud. Always have, always will.
The thing is with Maguire, right? It is.
He's a
He has a clear weakness, right? The clear weakness is very obvious. Everybody knows he's a slow player, but what he makes up for in that is absolutely world class. So what everything depends on is, of course, like what the idea was to bring in Varane to offset those weaknesses, because what he's really good at, he's world class at. And if you look at England, he's by far the English. He's the leader in the back of the defense, like. In the World Cup before the Euros, also he was, along with Harry Kane, the best player.
The thing is, I have no problems when he puts on an England shirt. When he puts on an England shirt, he's mustard.
He's one-dimensional. He's exactly the sort of player that I'm talking about when I say
Come
the
on,
difference
Luke.
between when I talk about Thiago Silva and time on the ball and relaxed composure and like being able to feel like to feel.
Thiago Silva does play in the back
Maguire
five.
Is the opposite of that. He's like
Thiago Silva plays in the back five.
You just mentioned one thing, and that one thing you just mentioned was that look, he's had a lot of crappy seasons. He's getting really good now. It's like look. Harry Maguire in general doesn't necessarily have too many crappy games. Like it's been very bad at the beginning of this season, sure, but there's a reason why he was the most expensive centre back in the world.
Because he's English and the price was inflated for me. Simple as that, you know.
He always has a good game against us.
I agree.
If you're a striker worth your salt in the Premier League and you're playing against United. You put the pressure on Maguire because you know he'll bottle it. He'll try and be clever. He'll fall over his own feet, and you'll do him. And I think everybody knows that. Like
I think for England as well. Like if you look at England, especially the World Cup. Now I'm probably in like a minority over the last couple of tournaments for us where I feel like England's really lacked creativity. I've not liked the way we've played. If you're scoring all your goals from corners and most of your play is getting the ball in the air and winning the ball in the air, then obviously Harry Maguire, he's got the biggest head in the world. So obviously, he's like no, joking aside though, it's always going to be
a bit fair to.
That's not what I want to see.
Be a bit fair as well, because we have to remember, like the guy is not just like just some loser who just the guy's got good qualities.
That's
like,
there's
a reason why world record fee for a centre back, and actually nobody really questioned that too much in the first couple of years.
I did.
Can I just interject though for 1 second though? He won more for Leicester than he has for Man United. He won more for Leicester, didn't he, than he did for Man United? So maybe he should have stayed at Leicester.
Okay, that's a good point. But like the point is that look. I mean,
Leicester was his level. I think that was it. Like
I think the redeeming quality
he had at
Leicester and
that was his
England,
level,
all of that was blown out of the water when you put an 8 million price tag on him, because then all of those humble things about him being an old school, defender who just puts his head in and gets it. But I think he is though. If you compare him to John Stones, in terms of the way John Stones is with the ball, even Ben White, the way that Ben White brings the ball out, I don't necessarily see that in Maguire.
Okay, I'm going to answer the question, Ollie. When it comes
is he world class? No.
No, but you have to look at it a little bit long term. You can't just say like the guy had a crap. Look at Harry Kane. Is Harry Kane is he a loser or is he?
He's a loser, but he's good. But he's still a loser.
You guys are Arsenal fans. But based on this season alone, like, is Harry Kane a world class player or not?
Yeah, but Harry Kane's had better seasons.
Answer the question, yes or no.
Maguire is had a questionable.
Yes or no.
Okay, I've got an idea.
Based on this season, no.
I've got an idea because we need to, Alex. We need to move on. But I'm gonna come with you first, Alex. Right. So what I want you to do, right, is compare Maguire to VVD, which is Virgil van Dijk, if no one knows, just abbreviated it.
Yeah,
right?
but you're talking about the best centre back probably ever, right? And
definitely in the top 5 of the world, probably.
Currently.
Honestly, I've never seen a better centre back, and you can
I agree.
We'll watch a bit of Thiago Silva, mate.
You have been banging on about Silva today.
Like there is no weakness to this man's game. Like the guy is absolutely like physically dominating, faster, stronger, better. Every single thing is 10
The
out of
Daft
10.
Punk song, isn't it?
He is
It's
exactly.
Daft
There you
Punk.
go.
I totally agree, Alex. I mean,
Like he is the only player that
He
you
is
would
the
question
mustard.
could be actually more important than Messi or Ronaldo a couple of years ago, right?
but he'll never win the Ballon d'Or because he's a centre back.
And I did honestly think that after that injury, which is probably the most serious injury you can get to in your football career, he was going to be finished after this. He comes back and he's absolutely dominating. Right, this guy is a unique person and a unique centre back, and I think, to be honest, if I'm going to be completely honest, I think it's the best one I've ever seen ever.
Wow.
And
Well, that's good. Actually, I want to go round that. With
that's my
Alex.
honest opinion. I don't like him.
No,
but,
I dig that. I dig it a lot. Luke, best centre back you've ever seen ever?
No, but I mean, Big
Thiago
Virg-
Silva's
Big-
better,
Big
obviously.
Virg- I mean, I'm incredibly biased.
He's
but,
won more though. He has
but-
won
but-
more.
But Big Verge, I mean, I remember Conte saying just before he signed for Liverpool from Southampton, saying basically to the Chelsea board, or to the rest of the Premier League, if we let Liverpool sign Virgil van Dijk, we're all fucked, basically, because he will be an absolute beast for them. And he was right. He's a monster, man. I mean, he like, again, with that, I bang on about Thiago Silva, but it's not really about him. It's more about players that look they've got time on the ball. They buy time when they shouldn't. Like, where I watched Chelsea Zenit tonight, and I see Christensen, who people are saying he's having a really good last whatever, and it's like you see him panic on the ball, like you see him like the hurried feet, that unconsidered moment, that kind of get it away from me moment. It doesn't exist in Virgil's game. It's like he's that take a touch, take a minute, look up, have a look around. He's not a panic.
And then he pings a 70-yard pass to the feet of the right back.
That's what I mean.
One little point. I remember, like, as a United fan, like when Lukaku was at the United, I thought this guy is the biggest, baddest man in the world. Like, he's going to
You ruined him.
And what happened? Like the one game, I was so disappointed. I felt like everything went, out of the, when Virgil and Lukaku are running for the same ball. They do a shoulder to shoulder, and Lukaku goes flying out of the way like he's nothing.
But they all have these moments. I remember Henri doing it to Desai. It was, everyone gets sat down sometimes.
The only person on the planet who can actually beat Mr. Virgil van Dijk is Norwegian in his Haaland. He's the only one.
I do believe that Pepe was one of the first to go up in a duel against Virgil van Dijk and get past him. I'm not joking.
Yeah, no, I think it was last season, wasn't he? It was like no one had got past him.
That is the biggest achievement of Pepe's career, to be honest. So
yes.
it's
right. Well, Virgil van Dijk had him best player in the world.
Not necessarily the best player in the world, but of the new era of what is expected a centre back to be a lot more of an athlete. Then he is the first superstar fullback centre back for me in this new era. I don't think you can discount people like Desai, even other people that you've seen in the past that are players like Tony Adams that are old school centre backs. John Terry to a certain extent. Obviously I don't like the guy, but.
Who does?
No one likes him.
Yeah, no one likes him. But Christ,
about that.
Yeah. But John Terry was probably the last greatest defender of that era, of that type of defender, whereas Virgil is the first superstar of this new era of what an athlete and what a modern footballer looks like. And I think that's why he's such a revelation, because you probably could play him up front and he probably wouldn't have the deft finish that a lot of other people have got, but you probably wouldn't be far off it. He's one of those players who you probably could put anywhere on the pitch and they would dominate, which I think is rare for a centre back.
Do you guys think he's bouncing back this year? Like, 'cause obviously last year he was a little bit off the pace with the injury and going back.
Well, he barely played last year, did he?
Yeah,
well, he got absolutely clattered by Pickford, didn't he?
That was quite funny.
Part of the thing that you said as well about the composure on the ball was something I was trying to make a point about earlier. Is like people fear him, so they give him time on the ball because psychologically you feel like I'm not going to get that.
They're beaten before they get there.
Yeah, exactly, and that is a huge part of it. Whereas Maguire at times he might have been like that, but this season people have seen that he's culpable. Arsenal, prime example of a team that have been culpable, and teams go out against them. They're not scared of them, but you go against Virgil van Dijk and you think there's no fucking point. I'll just let him pass it and I'll try and get it off the next guy. and I think that is a huge part of it, is the psychology behind the player that he is. But no mention of Ruben Diaz.
I mean, he's been phenomenal the last.
He doesn't
since he
start
came,
all the
basically.
time.
Ruben Diaz is almost the first name on the sheet, mate.
Not when it comes to my dream team.
I mean, besides Cancelo, I think he's one of the.
He's probably been the best defender in the league for me this season.
Yeah,
Do you know
I
what I mean?
wouldn't
Like,
disagree with
he's been again just the same sort of thing.
He does all the jobs in such an easy way. I mean, I think he makes that defense so much more relaxed more than anything. You know.
Yeah.
You've only got to see what happens when you put in John Stones or even Laporte to some extent. You see the kind of the lack of stability. He kind of goes quite quickly. Liverpool had it last year. You didn't take Virgil out of that side. You suddenly start thinking
the whole team finished after he went out, right? So he's actually more important than Salah, right? And you saw that. Like they barely scraped in top 4.
to Salah this season. I mean, guy's unstoppable.
Yes, but it helps having Mr. Van Dijk at the back.
But I think times this season where they've not had Van Dijk a couple of times and they've still looked really solid. So I think that's something that they've maybe looked at last season and thought we need to have a backup plan for that, because we can't again be losing a player and literally the whole team.
Let's get Dejan Lovren back in.
Yeah.
And now he was.
I think he says. I think he himself
was
says he's the greatest player ever.
He still
you say that though. You say that, but
he
look
played
at
tonight for Senate.
He did win the Champions League, didn't he?
I know. Well, that's exactly what I was saying to my.
Not many people win the Champions League, but Lovren can go. Yeah, well, and he was actually playing, not like someone just sat on the bench. Okay, Virgil van Dijk. I mean, there's no argument. We've gone a little bit over, but you know what? I'm having a good time. You know, I'm enjoying it. You know, we were just like vibing off each other. You know, okay, okay, all right, London. So we're just gonna carry on. Hey, it's my show. I can do whatever I want. So let's just look at this weekend's fixtures. I've pulled this one out of the bag because it's Steve Gerrard. He is back. Do you think Gerrard can do the business against Liverpool and not lose?
There are goals in this game. 100% are going to be goals in this game. I mean, they have the last few that they've had. Everybody scores. I mean, but ultimately, Liverpool win this game hands down. Surely. I mean, I think that.
Okay. What I like to do, Luke, I like to do a prediction.
Right. Okay,
when the goals are going to go in for each team, but you don't have to do the goal scorers. But you can do the goal scorers if you want.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm
a gambling man, so.
I think it'd be tight. I think it'd be tighter than some of the last games, but I think Liverpool win this one, probably 2 or even 3-1.
3-1 and go 3-0 up and consolation from Villa. Or?
No, I think goal apiece, and the Liverpool will just put the foot down a little bit and just
bring on Origi and then
bring Origi in the 95th minute and score a goal immediately.
Win the game. That's just Origi through. Alex, what do you think about this game? What score?
I mean, it doesn't really matter what Aston Villa does too much, to be honest. Like at this point, like if they're going to be rolling over Aston Villa, they're going to be doing attack.
Villa have been good though since Gerrard took over. So
no, they're good, but like they're now meeting a team that's going to actually like challenge them in a different way that I think Gerrard has ever managed against. Like I don't think Gerrard has ever managed any team that's this good.
It would be magical though for him to go there and really get a result, wouldn't it? It would just be beautiful.
You know the thing is with Gerrard is like this guy is like for me, like I said that on one of your other shows, I said this guy is an inspiration from another planet, right? This guy is like, if it's not possible, this guy is possible. Like this guy,
he's an alien.
He makes it possible. Kind of that's what his superpower is, and so you can't.
He makes the impossible.
Yeah, you can't discount it. You can't literally discount like what Gerrard's telling the players. But I just don't think that they're going to be able to withstand like the counter.
What's the score? What's the score?
I say we're talking like 4 or 5 goals for Liverpool.
Fucking hell!
And no,
5-0.
A real rout.
5-0 Liverpool.
I do think so. I think Aston Villa is going to get spanked by them, and I'm not even sure if they get a goal. And maybe, but really, like they are actually really good right now again. You know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
If they're back to the old Liverpool, like not the old, but like the, the top and the peak. I mean,
Let's not forget though, Brighton did get a result against them, so there is some hope. Adam, what are you thinking? Score?
I think Liverpool are going to spank them as well.
Wow, spanky.
I think I think like maybe 4-0. Like, I mean,
fucking hell, 4-0.
Mate, part of that is just me thinking, Gerard's just going to go out and go, I'm going to play a striker in goal because he loves Liverpool too much and he can't bear to see them lose.
Impression. Okay, you're in goal. Okay.
But yeah, I just think Liverpool are going to spank them. I think it's going to be a bit of a yeah, and for just a bit of a humbling for Gerrard as well.
That. So on to the next game, a game which I am going to and dreading, because we all know that when a team are on a bad run, or they can't buy a win, or they can't buy anything, you come up against Arsenal, they will give it to you. And here you go, Southampton. You can't win a game this season. Play Arsenal. Yeah, you can have the win. Okay, what do you think, Adam? Arsenal, Southampton.
It's a 3:00 kickoff, isn't it? I think, which is different for us. I think we always do worse on. I think 3:00 kickoffs we're pretty good.
We're okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like I think it's like one of those where we seem to have good stats with those. I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to say this is the one where Arsenal break their duck a bit. A few other players score some goals. I'm going to go 3-0 Arsenal.
Wow. Okay, I love that. I mean,
come on, Arsenal.
I'll be in the crowd, so I hope that does happen. Alex,
I'll blame you if it don't.
Yeah, I'll be texting you, mate. Don't you worry, I'll be texting you.
I agree. I agree with Adam. I think that Arsenal should spank them a little bit. Actually, they're going to make a little bit of a comeback from a couple of games where they haven't been on par, and then I think that Southampton is too weak, to be honest, for Arsenal. Like Arsenal, if they meet a weak team, I think they're going to exploit them big time. And
Odegaard 2-2 as well, your boy.
And look, don't be surprised if he has a couple of assists and maybe a goal. So the thing is that if Arsenal, I honestly think that Arsenal is you started this this today by saying they're shouldn't even be in the top four. I think they should be like Manchester United's biggest challenger to top four. So I think they're going to show that. I think they're going to show that. I don't think that they're necessarily going to roll over, but yeah, they should. They should.
I'm telling you now, guys. I'm saying it now. Right, we're going to come 7th.
3-1. 3-1.
We're going to come 7th. And Arteta's going to get the sack at the end of the season. That's how it's going to happen. Okay, 3-1 Arsenal, like that. Rads, what do you think?
I'm with Ads, mate. I think it's going to be 3-0. I think Arsenal will dominate them. I think they'll. I've enjoyed seeing Arsenal get beaten in the last couple of games, just purely because they were starting to build up a bit of steam. And any team that puts back-to-back wins together, you got to be worried about. If you don't drop any points, you're someone to be reckoned with. And I think Arsenal are starting to do that. And you start to think. You don't I don't want to play them next. You get to that feeling of maybe this is not a good time to play the Gooners. So seeing them get sort of knocked down a little bit, I think it's been a benefit for everyone else that's in decent positions. But that being said, I think this is a bounce back match. I think they come into the game. I think they'll play Southampton off the park to some extent. I think they'll just triangle around them. I think you've got people like Tomiyasu who he's been really superb at the moment. I don't know whether Saka's back or not, but they look like so many good options in the Arsenal team at the moment, and I think that I wouldn't say you can rely on them all, but I think that they're all trying, and I think you can't ask for more than that. I think that's
as well. Trafford and Goodison are both difficult places to go, aren't they? We should have done better at Evan, but they are difficult grounds to play at.
I did say to Adam, actually, I said it shows how good a player Emil Smith-Rowe is. That when he's not in the team, we play so badly. So if Smith-Rowe plays, we win the game. We'll start with you, Alex. Norwich versus United. Can Norwich get a point?
Jesus.
No,
Jesus.
I don't think so. I think it's you throw out the first 11 again, and it's destroy and
search and destroy.
Yeah, but
Call of Duty. Yeah,
they're all in this mindset at the moment. So I'm watching right now the second team for Ragnick, which is obviously this is his second team, and I'm watching how they play. But the thing is that I was a bit surprised by how well Ronaldo did under the system. He surprised me. Like I told you last time, he was my favorite. He's my favorite all-time player. But he surprised me actually being able to lead the line.
I
think that
Surprise! He's one of the best players in the world. I mean,
no,
paid a fortune to do the job.
Love scoring against Arsenal.
No, but you're talking about like a 36-year-old that's supposed to be running his ass off, and wasn't really doing that under Ole.
So what we saying? We're saying Ronaldo hat trick, 4-0 United.
I could say like maybe not a Ronaldo hat trick, but I think
Fred
maybe
hat trick.
I think probably like.
I mean, he's having a resurgence now, isn't he?
Hat trick. Wow.
Fred.
And then
Fred.
So Freddie puts the last one. Yeah.
All right. So what's the score prediction?
That's 4 goals, so 4-0.
4-0. Luke, prediction for United Norwich.
I think it's an easy win for United, but I don't think they score as many as you think they will. I reckon it's probably two goals.
Oh.
2-0. Adam, what do you think? United Norwich.
I think the same. I think just Norwich, like at home, they've been okay, but they've just not been able to score. So there've been a lot of like dull draws. But I think United will win it. But I think it'll maybe be like 1-2 maximum. Like
I think if I was going to put a bet on a draw, I think maybe Norwich could get a draw here, but maybe that's just.
I think that just relies on Man United not scoring because I can't see Norwich scoring. Like,
okay, so Brighton Spurs. Obviously, I always pray for Spurs to lose every game, and this is one that I think if they win it, then I think Spurs are looking pretty good. Luke, what are you thinking, Brighton Spurs?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I kind of wouldn't really talk much about Spurs, but I think Spurs are not playing particularly beautiful football, but you imagine if Harry Kane starts banging, like we're in trouble. And I think like Son's starting to look like he knows what he's doing now. I mean, thank God Reguilon's injured, so great. But the person I'm worried about is Conte. I just think he's so good, he can turn even a team like Spurs into contenders. So I think that my big concern is that he will. And so I'm hoping that Kane continues to be as poor as he's been in my fantasy team. But I think they'll take Brighton apart. I don't know. Brighton.
Scott.
It'll probably be a really dull game. This I'd say it's probably 2-1 to Spurs.
2-1.
But I do think they beat him. I do think they beat him in the end.
All right, Adam, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a draw.
Yes.
I think maybe 2-2. I don't know. Actually, no. Fuck it. Let's go 3-2 Brighton.
Brighton hat trick.
Yeah, that's it. Brighton.
Well, I love you, Adam.
They got a draw with. No, you got to fucking make it happen, didn't you? But like they got a draw with Liverpool, didn't they? What at Anfield? They can get a draw with Liverpool at Anfield. At Brighton, like you can beat Spurs. And with the Harry Kane in the Dream Team comment, I just want to reiterate that I'm so Arsenal that I would never even put a Tottenham player in my Dream Team.
I know. And it's shame on me for doing it. But I just, I saw the pictures and I thought, you know what? If Harry Kane finds his feet now, Conte's there.
There's times when I've thought about putting Kane in, like previous seasons. I just can't do it. Do you know what I mean?
No, I can't. I always had that thing as well. Did you ever do that thing where the Dream Team's like when you're playing that team? So it's like, if Arsenal playing Chelsea, it's like take any Chelsea players out of the team. But then it got to the point where I was like, no, because every time I took them out, they'd score, and then I'd be like, well, we've just lost to fucking Chelsea at home. At least if I had left fucking Hazard in, he would have got me 20
my dream
points,
team would have made me feel a bit better about it.
And it's now become a thing that it's kind of like role reversed on me. It's like psych. It's like, don't change it. Don't change. Salah's in your team. No, keep him in. It doesn't matter anyway. You're going to get beat anyway. You know what I mean? Now I keep them in, and it doesn't work anyway. Alex, what do you think is going to be scoring this one?
I mean, Tottenham, good team.
They've not been playing well, though. I mean, they look awful.
No, I think they look awful, but they started to do some good stuff again, and but again, it's like what's going on with Kane, and are they going to be able to smash in 4 or 5 goals? No, I don't think so. So I'm look, it's a boring game. You're gonna get 1-1 draw. That's it.
1-1 draw. Great. All right, this one I just want a score prediction. You don't have to say anything about it. I've got to make tea for the wife. So she needs a cup of tea. She just needs that tea. So I'm gonna make it for her because I'm a good husband. Chelsea leads.
Can we meet your wife online on the?
No, she doesn't like.
You can meet his wife online, but not on the show.
I didn't want to say it. You know what I mean? It's like
I think you're gonna get a lot more.
I'm sorry,
viewers.
Mrs. Cullen. I'm sorry, Mrs. Cullen. I did not mean that.
There's a new site called OnlyFans, and I'm working on it. So Chelsea leads.
There's a like button, right? Look, what you do, Ali, you say, look, like 10 likes and
no,
on the screen.
Stop this now. So Chelsea leads. I think
just like Luke's old job, yeah. Like
I think we sneak a win here, but I think we make hard work of it. I think
I do like Leeds after watching the documentary on Amazon.
I think we're better than Leeds. Well, we're definitely better than Leeds, but I do think that we make hard work of it. This is also a grudge match. This one, these clubs hate each other. So, but that said, I think we still beat him. But Bamford back, maybe he's an ex-Chelsea youth team player as well.
Dream team should have put.
Maybe he's got something to say. And you can never discount Rafinha, but I think we've still just got just a touch too much for him. That said,
Rafinha is in my dream team, so hopefully he scores.
Well, I think if there's not a better time to play Chelsea this season so far than right now, because we are looking wobbly and we've got injuries coming out of our
wobble. Alex, what do you think the score?
I disagree with Luke.
Easy Chelsea win.
Yeah, easy, and I think it's like a 3-0.
We've got to boil the kettle, mate. So you have to be quick.
3-0 and Mason Mount scores 2 goals.
Oh, I like that. I'll put that bet on. Adam.
I've just decided I'm not going to predict what I think will happen. I'm going to predict what I want to happen, which is 1-1 absolute hack fest.
That's like Chelsea Leeds in the 1970s.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
That's what I
want to see. I don't care about the goals. I just want to see them kick chunks out of each other.
Love that, guys. We're in the show here. We're in a bit over time, but who cares? You know what I mean?
Bonus 20 minutes.
So if you want to, thank you everyone for watching, like and subscribe if you can. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for being on the show. Obviously, we'll see you again on next week's show if you're free and available. And we will see. And if you see me smiling, then maybe Arsenal might have turned the slump around. Hopefully Leeds get a 1-1 draw and Norwich get a draw as well. And then Brighton beat Spurs, and then it's been a good week.
It's been a good week.
Ali, before you close it off, can you ask Luke why he's in a pink room?
Luke, why are you in a pink room?
I'm in the loft. I've been relegated to the loft. It was, they're watching.
And there you go. That was the question.
Chef, apparently.
The question on everyone's lips: why is Luke in a pink room? All right, guys. Thank you very much.
That, Man United
good night. This has been the 6-1 football show on FTB Sports.
Cheers,
Namaste.
Boys.
Merry Christmas.
Good.